Algebra 2 skills number 4, dividing complex numbers. And this is going to be the longest of the 4 operations. First, let's understand what a conjugate is. Okay, the conjugate of 7 minus 5i is 7 plus 5i. So a simple change. They're twins except for the sign in the middle. The product of conjugates is a real number. So if you were to multiply 2 conjugates together, by design, the i's are going to go away, and your result is just a real number. So we'll see that in action here. And essentially, it gets rid of the I. This is what happens when you go from imaginary, which has an I, to real, which does not. Okay, so here we're dividing, and what we're doing is we don't want this I on the bottom. It really boils down to that. So we're going to go through a process, and the answer may not look much better than what we started with, but at least it won't have an I on the bottom. So keep that in mind. So our first step is to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. Okay, we don't care about the conjugate of the top. Remember, we're trying to get rid of I on the bottom. So if I multiply this times its conjugate, according to the last slide, that should get rid of the I and achieve our goal. We must multiply the top by the same thing to achieve compensation. We can't just randomly multiply by something, or else we'll change the problem. But this red fraction here's value is 1 because it's the same thing on top and bottom. Like the previous video, we're going to multiply those, and notice it's really a multiplication problem on top and on bottom. Just to go through the top, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times negative 8i is negative 16i, negative 7i times 1 is negative 7i, and negative 7i times negative 8i is 56i squared. And you can follow the bottom to see the same process. Okay, so that's the same thing that we just got. And several things happened here. Remember, this becomes negative 56 if you watch the previous video. So I squared is negative 1. 2 minus negative 56 is negative 24, and that's negative 23i. These cancel. That becomes positive 64, as you can see. Okay, then we get this, just add the bottom. And sometimes you'll see a split here. Notice that if we have a single denominator and you have more than one term on top, you can make it that many fractions by repeating that denominator. Okay, a second example that you might want to pause and try before you watch me work it out. So notice again that we multiply by the conjugate at the bottom. Notice the conjugate does retain that first sign. You only change the middle sign. Okay, check your products right there. Okay, that's the answer we just got. Again, I squared becomes negative 1, so negative 18 minus 5 becomes negative 23. That becomes positive 25, as you can see. And then we split. One thing this video does not show is sometimes when you split, you have fractions that can be reduced. Like for example, if that was 2 over 4, you can make it 1/2. So you would want to do that if you split. Dividing complex numbers.